Oh, hi, I'm Pam, and I think that today we have to talk about something, and that's everybody's obsession with strings of things. What is it with all y'all and your strings of things? You need strings of things. Everybody needs strings of things. So the first thing about strings of things is that a lot of them are not even the same kind of plant. Like, not at all. Like, not even close. Let's talk about, like, the string of turtles. My string of turtles are currently itty bitty because it started as a plug and never grew until I finally put it under a plant light a few months back, and now it's exploding. So do that, first of all. Second of all, yeah, it's a peperomia. It's peperomia. Peperomia prostrata, to be exact. I'm pretty sure. I shouldn't say things like to be exact, because I'm never. Anyway, this is a string of turtles. To take care of a string of turtles, I have it in very barky, like peperomia soil. Peperomias do like water, and then they want to dry out completely. So water it well, and then ignore it. Completely ignore it. Like, probably longer than you think that you should. Unless you're a chronic ignorer, then don't do that. But, like, for normal ignorers, mine's in terracotta, which helps it dry out a little bit. So I water it maybe, I don't know, right now when it's actively growing, I've been watering it maybe once every 10 days. That's probably a lot more often than if you had a regular soil. If you had like a regular commercial soil, you're gonna wait a lot longer. But if you have something that is super draining and it's in terracotta, you're gonna need to do it more often. Give it more light too. This is a string of pearls. This is also a string of pearls. My string of pearls was much bigger, but then my string of pearls got mealybugs, and I went a little crazy on the alcohol. That sounded way more exciting than what actually happened, which was that I sprayed the shit out of it with rubbing alcohol too many times, and I gave it root rot accidentally. I'm still really sorry about that. So I saved everything that I could, and this is what is growing back. This is a variegated string of pearls that I picked up at the plant market one day for incredibly cheap. And it's doing great. It's doing fine. It's just plugging away here. Before I talk about care on these, hold on. Strings of pearls, strings of bananas, and strings of dolphins, which are also in here, as well as this string of ivy. These are all Senecio, whatever. These are all the same kind of plant. And these are definitely more, most strings in general are pretty succulent-like, which means that they're going to hold a lot of water in places other than the roots. And so they're gonna be able to go a lot longer without you watering them because they are storing it. Because they're drought resistant, that's what they do. A big problem that y'all have with string of pearls is that they rot. They rot, and when they rot, it spreads and they die, obviously. What I see a lot of y'all saying is to bottom water these, because that takes away from everybody getting wet up here. If they get wet up here, they're gonna rot. Here's the problem with that. String of pearl roots are really small and pretty shallow generally. So if you are only bottom watering and you're not doing it enough, and you're not waiting until it's wet, which I know I can be guilty of, and that's why I only bottom water plants that I know have roots at the bottom, if that makes sense. Otherwise you're not getting them. And if that's the case, you're gonna kill it by underwatering it, because they do like water. They just only need it when they need it. The issue, generally, and what's causing rot is not that you're watering it from the top. It's that you're watering it from the top and it's getting stuck there because everything in here is too crowded and too heavy and there's no air circulation. What you need is air circulation. If you've got air circulation, you can water it however you want. And I actually prefer watering it from at the top for the root issue that I said. So try not to do the big pile on top. They also like light from the top. They want light from the top. They like to hang, oh, that's fine, but you want to make sure that the light is coming from the top. Yeah, like once they're long enough, you wanna, I have some of them on top because if you do wind them on top, they will eventually root that way and that will start more vines. So if yours is really kind of sparse on top, see, I've just like laid them on top here and these are all starting to root. I can't pull that out. That's rooted in its own. And that's a really, it's like the easiest way I know to propagate these. Just be careful of the overcrowding. Just be careful, just keep an eye on them. But yeah, I water these as soon as everybody kind of starts looking a little bit dull. And if you look carefully, they have this little, oh, whoops. Okay, but now I can show you. They've got a little window, and the wider the window is, generally, the more full it is, I guess. And so when that window starts closing a little bit and they start almost getting a little bit shriveled, that's when you want to water them. Make sure they don't get shriveled. But if they're already nice and full and especially kind of shiny, they don't need water, you're good. And that's also gonna go for the string of bananas and the string of dolphins, which I have mixed in here. Those are George. This was little George, and now he is big George. Dolphins are one of those bizarre, crazy scientist plants that was a weird hybrid of these two plants. And sometimes they revert, and mine really like to revert. But they don't like revert to, I mean, it's a cross, it's a breed. I mean, it's a, you know, it's fake, it's made up, it's all fake, whatever. So mine always end up, they go flat, like little manta rays. And people say that you can also get those from overwatering, and you can get them from not enough light, and you can get them from sneezing, something ridiculous. Oh, adding too much nutrients to the soil. So that is probably what is happening, because I give them rainwater with castings in it most of the time, because I'm lazy and I water everybody with the same shit. Anyway, he's always just been in a window, but with a little bit of extra plant light, but he's doing really great now. He's about 4 years old, probably. 3.5, maybe. He hasn't grown as fast as I kind of expected him to, but we've also had some fights. Generally speaking though, he's been very easy. I tend to underwater just out of fear. So I do get some shriveled up ones, but I would rather have a few shriveled up ones than a whole bunch of dead ones. No, those are already dead. I mean dead one, like dead plants. Dead plants. I don't want a dead plant from rot. I'll take little shriveled up bananas though. Okay, now we have the ivy. Now, the difference between the other strings and these is they don't have that water line thing. So I just go by the leaves, how they feel. These right now, I watered this like 2 days ago, I think, and they're nice and firm. They get very soft when they are when they're thirsty. And being in terracotta, and I haven't repot this for a while, so I've been watering this one about twice a week lately. It sits in my garden window and just hangs out. But it is always happy. Cool as hell. Love this one. Oh shit. God damn it. This thing's too heavy. Breaking things. Okay, and we're gonna end here with the string of hearts. This actually also has some string of spades planted in here because it's the same care and they look almost the same, so I stick them in here. Now, these are ceropegii, again, a third plant. And these are also succulent-like, and they store water in their leaves, and that is how you can tell when these need to be watered. They also get very soft and pliable. But unlike the others, these actually have rhizomes, I guess, which are the big potato-looking roots. And those are what's storing, that's what's storing all of the water and everything. So with these, you really can let them dry out. Let the soil dry out completely before you water them. These are pretty good in like medium to bright light. Everything else really does want bright light. But these can tolerate a lot more, and they are definitely the fastest growing. And I don't have any problems with the rotting issue with these. Okay, so those are the strings of things. And now we rate them. Ready? Coming in last in my strings of things competition, we're gonna go with the string of pearls. Variegated have done much better for me, I'll say. Yeah, these, no. Sure. String of turtles. Sure. String of dolphins? No. String of bananas? Sure. String of hearts? String of spades? Sure. They're messy. And they're tangled all the time. String of ivy? Absolutely yes. Thank you for coming to my stream.